How's it going, everyone? It's another Friday, which means we got another episode of the Why Am I Here podcast with Sani, me, Sani. And I'm here today because of Wiener. Yes, Wiener. You know, Oscar Mayer Wiener. The Oscars are this weekend. Hi, how's everyone doing today on this lovely Friday, or whenever you're listening to the podcast? This is Sani, host, doing pretty well today. You know, better than it's Friday. That's all I gotta say. But on the tail of the tape today, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Oscars, go through some of the Oscar nominations, and even provide you with my prediction for the winners. Let's start with the Best Actor category. For Best Actor, we have Andrew Garfield, nominated for his performance in Tick, Tick, Boom. Great movie. We have Benedict Cumberbatch, nominated for his performance in The Power of the Dog. Javier Bardem, Being the Ricardos. Denzel Washington, The Tragedy of Macbeth. And Will Smith, King Richard. Now, out of these movies, I've only seen 3, being Tick, Tick, Boom, The Power of the Dog, and The Tragedy of Macbeth. While Denzel probably delivers the best performance out of all these men, I'd have to say, for me, I would go with Benedict Cumberbatch as winning this category, primarily because his performance in The Power of the Dog carries that movie to what it is. And if you have not seen The Power of the Dog, it might not be for everyone, but it is worth a watch. It's on Netflix. So is Tick, Tick, Boom. King Richard is available on HBO Max, I believe, and The Tragedy of Macbeth on Apple Plus or Apple TV. Being the Ricardos, I've not seen, and I know absolutely nothing about, but that does not shy away from Javier Bardem getting nominated for Best Actor category. Next are the Best Actresses, or also Best Actors. We have Jessica Chastain, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Olivia Colman, The Lost Daughter. Kristen Stewart, Spencer. Nicole Kidman, Being the Ricardos. And I'm going to butcher this movie title. Penelope Cruz in Madres Paralelas. Yeah, let's go with that. Now, I've only seen Spencer in this list, although I hear great things about The Eyes of Tammy Faye and Jessica Chastain's nomination. And it's seeming that it's Jessica Chastain's award to win, but I'd have to say that Kristen Stewart probably delivered the best performance out of the list, mainly because Spencer focused on Kristen Stewart's portrayal of Princess Diana the entire movie, and yeah, that's hard to do. It's hard to be in every single frame, every single shot, and just carry a movie solely on your back, and she completely did that. Going into Best Original Screenplay, we have Don't Look Up, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, The Worst Person in the World, and King Richard. I'm a little torn in this category, primarily because I have not seen Belfast, The Worst Person in the World, or King Richard. I don't think that Don't Look Up should even be nominated in this category. Although I enjoyed Don't Look Up, I do not believe it's deserved of any Oscar nomination, if I'm being frank. But in my opinion, the award would have to go to Licorice Pizza because I saw that movie and it was better than Don't Look Up. Although I'm hearing amazing things about The Worst Person in the World, being one of the best films of the year, a foreign film. Yeah, and I haven't seen King Richard, although I hear great things about King Richard, primarily Will Smith's performance in King Richard. Apparently he kills that role. But in my opinion, it's probably going to be Licorice Pizza. I wouldn't put it past it being The Worst Person in the World or King Richard as well. Now on to Best Adapted Screenplay. We have The Lost Daughter, Dune, Drive My Car, Power of the Dog, and Coda. I've seen Dune, I've seen Drive My Car, and I've seen The Power of the Dog. I have not seen Lost Daughter or Coda. I would have to say it's looking like Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog is most likely going to win, although I think Drive My Car should win this category for Best Adapted Screenplay, because Drive My Car is probably one of the best movies to come out last year, by far, and I just watched it this past weekend. It's a long movie, but the screenplay speaks for itself. It's a spectacular piece of work. Best Cinematography. In this list, we have nominations for Nightmare Alley, Dune, The Power of the Dog, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and West Side Story. The only movie I did not see in this list was West Side Story, and I have no interest in seeing West Side Story, even though it was directed by Steven Spielberg. But for cinematography, this is a little hard for me because Dune, The Power of the Dog, and Tragedy of Macbeth all have had amazing cinematography, amazing shots. I would have to say it would probably go to Dune because the way Dune was shot and how everything was scaled was just spectacular, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it. Power of the Dog also had spectacular landscape shots in the middle of, I forget where that movie takes place, Wyoming, I would say. Bumblefuck America, middle of fucking nowhere. But they had amazing depictions of rolling hills and mountains that were just stunning. And Tragedy of Macbeth, although a black and white film, it looked amazing. I don't say that often, because I believe Belfast is also another film that was depicted in black and white. I think the camera work in Tragedy of Macbeth was really good, and I would have to say for this category, it's either Dune or Tragedy of Macbeth, in my opinion. For Best Director, we have Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog, Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Ryusuke Homoguchi for Drive My Car, Steven Spielberg for West Side Story, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza. From all the buzz that I see, primarily on Twitter, because that's where I get most of my information from, I would say that Best Director would be Jane Campion's Power of the Dog. I think Ryusuke should honestly win this category because Drive My Car was an amazing film. And in the Best Picture category, we have a stacked nomination list with 10 films being nominated this year, and they usually don't fill it out to the full 10. We have nominated for Best Picture Nightmare Alley, Don't Look Up, Dune, Drive My Car, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, West Side Story, King Richard, and Coda. I'm a little torn on this one, mainly because I do love the film Dune. It was one of my favorites of last year. But honestly, on this list, and I don't think it's going to win because it's a foreign international film, is Drive My Car. That was probably the best movie this year, deserving of Best Picture. Most likely, the Oscars are going to pick either Power of the Dog or King Richard. And that primarily does it for what I'm going to talk about Oscars-wise. Hope my predictions comes true. There are a lot more nominations, but there are categories that I wouldn't say no one really cares about, but I just wanted to talk about the big ones for sure. But on to some movie news. We got the sequel of Godzilla vs. King Kong beginning filming later this year, which is excellent news. I love that fucking smackdown of a movie. A real WWE raw action. All entertaining. The humans suck. But we're only here to see King Kong fuck up Godzilla. Go Kong. Yes, I'm Team Kong. Team Kong all the way. There are some reports of an Avatar 2 teaser dropping in front of the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness movie. I don't really care about Avatar. Avatar is not particularly a movie I like all that much. It's okay, I guess. Pocahontas did it better, in my opinion, but hey, it looked good. It did look good, I'll give it that. We have Kid Cudi is making his directorial debut with the film Teddy. He says it's going to look like he took the Pursuit of Happiness song and wrote a movie about it. Yeah, I saw Kid Cudi, Scott Mescudi, recently in X. I think he did a fantastic job in X. I'm going to talk about that movie in a little bit. Yeah, I'm looking forward to what Kid Cudi can bring to film. Should be visionary, maybe. I mean, the score is going to be fucking dope. Just give me some Kid Cudi, some hums in there, baby, and I'm all for it. And recently there's the first trailer dropped for Alex Garland's Men. Now, this film just bumped up on my list of anticipated films for sure. I love Alex Garland. Annihilation, Ex Machina are two of my favorite movies to come out from him. He also wrote the screenplay for a movie called Sunshine, which might fly under people's radars, but is a fantastic film nonetheless. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The film primarily follows a widowed woman. Maybe widowed, I'm not sure if she was married or not, but recently widowed, I guess. And she's just being followed by men. I'm looking forward to Men. I don't really want to talk too much about it and put myself in a hole. But there was a Joker deleted scene release, played by Barry Keoghan, I believe you say his last name. Played Druid in the Eternals. He's popping up a lot in films, which is interesting. He delivered his portrayal of the Joker. Basically, it was not really an interrogation scene. Batman pretty much came to the Joker to learn a little more about the Riddler, pretty much. Kind of like a Hannibal Lecter situation. But honestly, his performance in that was pretty good. I'd say it's better than Jared Leto's performance for sure. I'm not going to say that the film is lacking because that scene was deleted. Honestly, that scene didn't really need to be in the film at all, but hey, at least we got to see his portrayal. That's good. And that does it for film news and Oscar talk. Now, let me tell you about what I recently watched movie-wise. Recently, I watched the movie X, which is about adult film crew going to an old couple's ranch to film their porno. Yes, and yeah, chaos kind of ensues. It's a very, very horny film. Very horny film. You get to see boobs, but yeah, I don't want to give too much. It was an interesting take on a horror film that I honestly enjoyed the film thoroughly. It's very enjoyable. The kills were pretty good. Another film I watched was Bone Tomahawk. Now I have this is a rewatch of the film Bone Tomahawk, and if you've seen Bone Tomahawk, you know it's a brutal fucking movie, especially the ending. Bone Tomahawk, a woman and man get taken from the town by these cave dwellers, troglodytes, and it's up to 4 men to go hunt them down, save their lives, and bring them back. This film has one of the wildest, most gruesome endings I've seen. Also, badass as fuck. Highly recommend anyone go check out Bone Tomahawk. Just have a strong stomach and don't be squeamish at all. Drive My Car is a film that I've watched this past week. It's a 3-hour film. It's a very good film. It got nominated several times in the Oscars, and it's deserved. It's one of the best films of last year. It's good. It's about a stage actor who loses his wife, and him dealing with that loss through acting, sort of, and how it sort of affects his relationships and why he isn't really growing from her loss. He seems like a stagnant character at first because, I'm not going to spoil what happens. Something big happens in the first 20 minutes of the film that kind of really affects the character, and it's brought back later in the film as it's a very introspective journey for this character, and I highly recommend everyone watch Drive My Car. Might not be for everyone because then again it's 3 hours long, and it's also not in English. And I know how people get iffy about films that are not in English, but still, you should check it out. It's a great story about love and loss, for sure. On to television news. This one pains me. On the television news, Netflix cancels Archive 81 after 1 season. Reading that news was, it really fucking sucked. Archive 81 was a great, mystery show with horror vibes as well. I guess I can recommend it to people, but just know there's only 1 season of it to watch because Netflix canceled it. So it kind of just ends on a cliffhanger because the story does not end, which is annoying when Netflix does this, and they do this often. Fucking Netflix. There's a Netflix documentary about Marilyn Monroe, the unheard tapes. Most likely going to watch this. Recently, I talked to a friend about Marilyn Monroe. She knew way more than I knew about her. All about her. I mean, primarily what I knew about Marilyn Monroe was that she was an actress. She did her thing, and she had relations with JFK. I know that's very dude-brained of me, but yeah, that's all I really knew, if I'm being honest. Yesterday, we had the first episode of the Halo series drop. I watched it. Honestly, the first episode was not really that good. I would have to say it was about a 3 out of 5. Yeah, 3 out of 5 stars for me on the first episode. But I see how they can make this story pretty good. I, as a former Halo player, grew up playing Halo, a lot of it, hours even, would stay up unnecessary, ungodly hours just playing fucking Halo with my friends, who also should not have been up that late. But we did it anyway, because, kids. My primary gripe, well, two gripes. The human characters can't kill anything, but the Spartans can. They kind of just fucking come in. I can't even, not going to spoil it. They come in and just start murking elites. Elites are part of the Covenant, which are aliens, for those who did not know that already. But the human characters cannot even put a dent in these elites. and the Spartans just came in with the same weapons, just going to fucking town, murking a fuck ton of elites. Another one, which will be a spoiler, so if you don't want to get spoiled, you might want to skip ahead. I would say about a couple seconds. Let's say 20 seconds. Master Chief takes his helmet off. In the game, Master Chief never took his helmet off, so that was a little, oh god, he actually has a face. It's a little weird for me, but you know, I have high expectations for the Halo series. I feel like it's gonna be good. It already got greenlit for season 2, and I believe they start filming at some point this year. So I doubt it's gonna be terrible or unwatchable. It's definitely a watchable series. Another show that I love that premiered was Atlanta. Atlanta season 3 dropped 2 episodes yesterday. I watched them both. I fucking love Atlanta. Two fantastic episodes. One of the premier shows that delves into surreal comedy and black surrealism, which has sort of been a movement with I guess Jordan Peele in his movies, and also Sorry to Bother You would also fall under that category. Man, Donald Glover is one of my favorite people. I'm a huge fan of his. Love Childish Gambino's music. Love his acting. Love Community. He was in Community. Shout out Community. Everyone go watch Community. One of the funniest shows ever. And I'm really glad Atlanta's back. It is the best show on FX for sure. You can watch Atlanta on Hulu, and you can watch Halo on Paramount Plus. But that does it for me today. I probably ran a little longer than usual. But thank you for listening, and have a wonderful weekend or day or whatever you got going on. Hope all is well. Take care, people, and goodbye.